real conversations, real solutions, real success.
Success is my religion.
Still be repeating yourself.
All right, we here again on the porch with CJ, the chosen one.
Yes, sir.
And
What's
me,
happening?
MT, the success engineer, the one.
The one. We're both the ones.
Today's topic is. Do you even want to be great?
Do you really want to be great?
Do you even want to be great?
No, you don't. You don't.
Can I get through the intro, man?
Yeah, my bad.
He on something today.
Yeah.
Do you even want to be great? So I was. What was I doing? I was just something motivational popped up on a reel or a video or something, and it was like, if you want to be great, and I was like, do people even really want to be great? Like, do my students want to be great? Do the teachers want to be great? Because the information doesn't even apply to you if you don't even have that as your goal. If you don't even have wanting to be great as your goal, then whatever information that comes after, if you want to be great, blah 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 blah. Yeah. It doesn't matter to you.
Just be normal.
It causes people to be normal, and what I know is that what I'm coming to find out is that a majority of us live normal lives, right? Majority of people, raise a family, pay bills, do the things necessary to maintain a lifestyle. But if you want to be great, that is another level above. And then I would put below that average. Average is, I think, what I was referring to. I was kind of thinking about last week when we was talking about this. Average are those people that aren't still learning. Like, they cut off their learning. They're like, this is what my life is. This is what
acceptance.
Yeah, they accept their lives. But normal people will keep learning new things, will maintain their lifestyle and do more adaptable.
Yeah.
Average people just take what is given to them. Normal people adapt to whatever the situation is so they can maintain their lifestyle that they want to live, and they don't complain. So one of the differences between the two is that average people complain about their situation. Normal people, they just
let me figure out what I can do.
Well, just they're okay with their situation. They're not complaining. They're happy.
Oh, they're complacent.
They're happy. Yeah, they're happy with their situation. They're not. But average people, they don't like their situation, but they're not willing to do anything to do it. But then great people have a vision in their minds of what they want to do, how they want to live, and things. So when somebody says, if you want to be great, if you want to be successful, this, and this, that triggers something. But I don't think nowadays people are really looking at, I don't think they have that goal. The young people don't have that goal. They don't know what greatness is, I don't think. And then people in general are just like, oh, well, I don't have to do all of that to be great.
Let's skip the line.
Or
skip the line.
Or they already have it great,
Yeah.
And some people, like, I think the students that I work with, they don't even know that they're not great. You know what I mean?
That's going to be a harsh reality once school is over with, and the rigmarole of the normalcy of going to school and
rigmarole.
Just going to school and learning and trying to get a decent education. The real world is going to hit you in the face real hard, and unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with it. Now, if it knocks you out, then obviously somebody's going to have to wake you up from that dream you had.
The delusionati. You're part of the delusionati. So, do
Some
you
more.
think people want to be great?
No. And then I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because this is a good subject that we are talking about. For years, I've been telling people to be committed to excellence. And however you interpret that is however you interpret it. But this is what it really means. It has everything to do with you and nobody else. Being committed to excellence is you. You are the excellence. If you're not committed to yourself and you're not able to produce the things that you want to do to make yourself happy without others, then you, my friend, are not committed to excellence. There's nowhere around it. You can change it, but if you're in a rut to where you're dependent on somebody else or you're hoping that somebody else is going to brighten up your day, that's the wrong thing to do. You have to wake up ready to be committed to excellence. You have to wake up ready to make things happen for yourself and others around you, because then you can inspire people to be committed to excellence. Now, for a long time, and I still believe this to this day because I live in Kansas City, Missouri. So this is Chiefs fan. This is Chiefs country, and obviously I'm a
Yeah.
Raiders fan. So being committed to excellence is a Raiders stance, but it is something that you can do and apply to your life um, instantly and have instant results. Because then, if you set up what did we say, boundaries? You set up boundaries for certain things, then certain things cannot disrupt your greatness of excellence. And that's what I think people are not ready for. People are not ready to be great.
Because
It
greatness takes
it
it takes
involves
effort,
things. It takes
a
effort.
lot more effort than what
You
is
have to do
just,
things. It's not gonna fall in your lap.
and it just what is required. Because like I talk to students every single day, and they're like, well, I get a good grade, so I should get a scholarship. I was like, no.
Mm-mm.
So one of the students, I love her to death, but like, you got straight A's, but you have a stable household. Like, you have a stable life. Like, your parents pay for things. You don't have to worry about anything. So yeah, you got straight A's, and that's cool. But then somebody that has straight A's but comes from a negative life, a negative home environment,
Mm.
is going to be more hungry than you.
Yeah.
So how do you and I'm talking to people across the board. I'm talking to the hungry, and I'm talking to the stable, and I'm talking to the people that have it all laid out for them.
It's
Like,
levels.
you still have to earn it,
Yeah.
no matter where you are. The disadvantaged person, they already got a little bit of hunger, or that hunger already.
Yeah.
The hunger kind of goes away the more stable you are, and then the more resources that you have, or whatever it is that your family life provides you.
Yeah.
But I was telling the girl, I was like, you got straight A's, but somebody that got straight A's over here comes from a bad background. So when they filling out that scholarship paper, and they ask about their life, they gonna say, "Yeah, my mom was this, or my dad was this, or this happened in my life," and
Yeah.
you all you had was,
Fairy tales.
well, all you had was, I got straight A's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's all you get. You get, I got straight A's.
That's excellence, because that's commitment. You
Yeah,
have to commit to study. You have to commit to do all these things to get those straight A's. So
but that's
they can't stop
subjective.
there.
That no, that's subjective too, because it depends on what school you go to. Is the school rigorous? Is it does it have a high level of achievement? Like, is it challenging you? If
Well,
it ain't even challenging you, like, if it's easy, then, and everybody that follows directions can get straight A's. Like, what did you really do? You just followed the program,
yeah, you're a
and then
part of the program.
and then now you think you good. Now you think you great, but you're not really great, because the prepared the practice that you needed to be great was flawed.
Yeah,
And
and
that's what I'm talking about. So if our practice is flawed, I got a stable life, I get straight A's, My practice is flawed though, but I don't necessarily understand it because I'm just a child. I'm going through it, right? I'm just going through the process of where I'm at, my environment. I'm a product of my environment. Uh, can you ultimately, which I asked another student, I was like, can you ultimately be compete against those students that have $1 million homes, $500,000 homes, and can pay for their college themselves, but understand that they're gonna go get a scholarship too, and and they didn't have to worry about anything. That's what I'm saying. There's a scale there you got to look at, and what the determining factor is what your effort you putting in.
Yeah.
The effort has to be great. The lower you come from, like it goes, like you have to be even more great the more negative your environment is.
Definitely.
So you have to be committed to greatness already, excellence.
Excellence, greatness,
You have to be committed to that
all the
before,
above.
and you got to be committed for a long term because there's a lot of things. The more disadvantaged you are, the more things that you have to work yourself through,
Yeah.
mentally, physically, all of that stuff, and then we don't even get into the social aspect
Oh,
of so those people with the affluent network,
yeah.
they 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 have networks that they go
Man.
to. I was taking people to country clubs yesterday for weddings, and
Oh,
they had
yeah.
all these
It's that
cars and
season.
stuff.
It's
Yeah,
that season,
weddings,
guys.
graduations, like $1 million houses, uh, 50 to $100,000 cars, and they got a car. They didn't have to pay for it. They didn't even have to work if they didn't want to. Like affluent people work, or their kids work because they want to develop.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids work because they want money or they need money. That those are two different things, and we got to really look at what is like those type of issues because yes, you live a stable life. If you have a stable life like that, that alleviates some of the focus that you have to put on overcoming the negative, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if you don't have
definitely.
a stable life, you gotta focus on overcoming that negative and
It's
then
training camp.
getting to stable so that you can thrive ultimately. And that's something that we don't even it doesn't even come to our minds. I don't think even adults even like I don't hear like I've been listening to motivational speeches and people analyzing the black community and all of that stuff for years, over a decade,
Oh,
like
yeah.
specifically over a decade. And they don't even talk about that, the mental issues. And what I talk about is the focus, like where your focus goes, your energy flows.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a negative background and I have to focus on my family, that pulls me away from reach, or that makes it harder for me to reach my fullest potential and go after my fullest potential because I can't focus directly on. So if I'm in a fluid family, I get to the opportunity to
Yeah.
choose
Spotlight's on
what
you.
I focus on, and that's what we don't understand. The more negative your environment is, the parents, if you can provide a stable household for for the child,
Mm-hmm.
um, that leaves them open to focus, and they can focus on going to school. My students, they graduate and they want to focus on going to work more than they going to school. So, how are we going to develop leaders in the different fields and arenas
Mm-hmm.
that need to be changed and put more people of color or whatever, more diversity
Yeah.
in there, that are capable, able, and then become leaders of that organization or then fields, innovators, because ultimately our perspective is an innovative perspective.
Well, in those aspects, I feel like people have to invite the pressure because in order for you to be a leader, you have to go through certain things to get to that leadership, and it's pressure. It's designed to break you so you give up and be mediocre or normal or just accept where you are in life. I don't think a lot of people in this world, this maybe a 10% thing. I'm on 10% right now for some reason. But 10% is not a whole lot, but it can mean a whole lot. It can build a whole lot. It could turn into something colossal, but you have to be committed. And I don't think in this day and age, with everything that's technology wise at our fingertips, just things that I knew I didn't grow up with as a young adult, as I'm an older adult now. Um, it just wasn't there. So, the people coming up, the generations coming up, the technology is only going to get bigger and better and help you more. But
If
even
you use it to help you instead of
you can't shortcut it.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
not
you
going to be
want
able
the
to shortcut it.
shortcuts. And I brought that up with somebody. He was a comedian and he wanted to make a joke out of it, and I was like, yeah, what are we really doing with the AI stuff? Because we get the AI and we get a robot and doing our day to day task, and that leaves where our focus goes, our energy flows. We don't have to focus on that anymore. So if our day to day tasks are taken care of, what are we focusing on? Most people are focused on leisure and
Well,
and not learning more. So if I'm able to like I need my meal preps every week so
yeah.
that I can focus on the work that I'm actually doing. That helps me out so that I don't have to focus on Sunday and put together all these meal preps.
So you have a routine.
So I can have a routine, but I don't have to focus on that
Yeah,
thing.
because it's something that you've already put in your schedule to do.
But I didn't put it in my schedule. I paid somebody to do it. So if I'm paying an AI robot to do something that I would normally do myself, I can open up that whatever I was going to use to focus on to something else. But we focus on leisure and having fun and stuff instead of I can actually go and figure out how to build a fence around my yard
Yeah,
because I have the mental capacity. You only get so much mental capacity throughout the day, so you have
yeah.
a decision maker that you can only make a certain amount of decisions every single day. That's why Steve Jobs wore the same turtleneck and jeans every single day because he had high level decisions that he needed to be focused on so that so when you you saw him he was in the same thing every day, so he didn't have to mentally think about what am I going to wear today, what are the people thinking about my
So he
outfit
he
today, or
he
how
made
am I coming off. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just going to wear this one outfit. You either take me how they take me,
so he
or
made a fashion uniform, and he cut out the decisions. So
yeah, so that he could focus
yeah.
on the higher level decisions instead of low level decisions.
Oh, I
Like
like
we
that.
always
Yeah.
are looking at these low level decisions. Like I was at the gym and they was like, I was like, give me the PB and J shake or whatever they make, smoothie, whatever it is. And I was like, and they were like, do you want strawberries or berries? I'm like, whatever you put in on a regular basis. I don't care what that. It's 9 o'clock at night. I'm not trying to think about that. I've been through
Yeah.
8 hours at work, 4 hours here. Like I'm not trying to think about that. Just give me what it is, or whatever you think. You just pick
Well,
one.
yeah.
I don't want
And
that decision.
you have that capability of doing that because it's not going to matter because you're going to get your shake regardless, whether it's berries or strawberries or whatever. It's always good to have options. Life is full of options, and you just make the best ones that you can make. But for me, um, if I've known you for a large amount of time and you're complaining about the same thing on a regular basis, then I'm just going to chop it up as it being you. because you don't want to make the decisions to change. So if you like crying yourself to sleep every day, your pillow's going to be moist all the time. I hope you wash it a lot because that's bacteria. Um, but other than that, life is full of choices. You got to make them. And every choice you make leads to another choice, good or bad. So the best thing for you to do is to have a routine, try and achieve those routines on a daily basis so that those distractions are already taken care of. And yes, it can lead to more distractions. Yes, it can lead to better decisions or better options, like certain things you just look forward to during the week because you know it's going to happen and you push through it. So my schedule right now is, Sunday is this podcast day. So I look forward to that. Spreading my knowledge or my opinions through those that are listening to tune in. And then Wednesday, we got a project with Mr. Work Hard here. So I look forward to that. I look forward to helping and putting my hand into something that is going to help benefit somebody else that is committed to wanting to do that. That's my big goal in life. If you're not committed, I'm not going to take you seriously, especially if you talk about it for a whole lot of times. Now, for me, right now, I'm talking about um, a red world, just for me, because that's my favorite color. I want to be immersed in that. Is it going to make other people upset? I don't know, and I don't care, because that's what I want to do. That's what we want you to get to. We want you to get to the place in life where you do what you want to do, and it's not going to offend you or hurt you if it offends or hurts somebody else because it's what you want to do. So therefore, you do what you want to do because others are going to do what they want to do regardless. I don't know why people have a hard time comprehending that. You do whatever you want to do, especially if you're an adult. If you're over 18, you're a legal adult, you make decisions, you live with those decisions. You got to. You have to be committed to something. And why not it be you? Why wouldn't you want to be successful? If you can help somebody else be successful, that success can render down to you. It can inspire you to want to do stuff. Like, I'm not a person that would do this maybe 2 or 3 years ago, be on a podcast and do anything like that, but I'm exploring, and it's just something I actually like to do. It's something that I look forward to doing, regardless of, if whatever I say is taken to heart or if it helps. It's something that, you speak out into the world, you speak into fruition. So I'm trying to speak things into fruition because the more I do that, the more people may listen to me and Mr. Mike, or, it can inspire you to change your aspect of life and then grow. And then while you're growing, you'll see other people grow. And then it can be a whole new wild forest when nobody's cutting the trees down because we're growing and we're extending. We're trying to reach up to the sun to get all the energy that we need to get to be who
But
we
I
want to
don't,
be.
I don't think people are understanding what it takes to be successful. They think that they can do the bare minimum,
Yeah.
the requirements, and be successful. Like, unless you come from the stable to affluent background, like
It's going to be difficult.
it's still there's still some trials, toughness that you have to go through. And if your parents don't have companies, or you just want, like, I'm having conversations with students, like, they're like, oh, I'll just work for my dad's company or my mom's company or whatever. And I'm like, but, like, you're not going to push that company forward because you have no
There's no drive.
well, there's no added knowledge. You're not bringing anything to the table, so they're going to teach you everything you need to know from what their knowledge base is about the business, and you're just gonna keep it at that. But
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. You can add to it.
you're just gonna maintain, but you're not adding anything to it. So those people that, and I'm talking to 16, 17, 18 year olds, and I'm like, what if you went away to college, and because you have a stable household, you can you can go to college, go study something, and bring it back to the business that will enhance the business. Maybe you can learn how to run the business a little bit better, more
Yeah,
efficiently,
break off,
uh,
extend the business.
and take the business a little bit further. That's what you're supposed to do. But they just want the safe and easy route. The easy route is, I'm gonna just go work for my dad, and I'll just work my way up. And those kids, they have issues, they have problems later on in life because they never really explored anything outside of whatever it is that their parents did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. And depending on what culture you come from, what ethnicity, race, or whatever, like
Background.
background, like those things factor
Yeah.
in. So
Yeah.
I have Hispanic students, Mexican students, that Mexicans are happy with being here because it's better than where they came from.
Oh yeah.
So they're okay with staying in the industries that were conditioned to um, make the most money in. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And they're okay with that. So now we got Generation Z. But for us, we understand that there's more out there. So but we're we're still conditioned to go in a certain direction, but um, we are bucking back on the conditioning because we understand that we need to be in these spaces because we've been here as long as them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's hard for young people to know. That's why I'm like, I need you to become successful so that you can have the full gambit of opportunities to do whatever it is that you want. So if you don't have if you only want to go one way, you're going to be limited, and I don't want you to
One
be
way street.
limited. Yeah.
You don't want
So
that.
in the next 20 years, and you figure out something that you want to change or whatever, you don't have the capability. You don't even have the status or the power. You may have the money because you continued on into your parents' business,
Yeah.
but you don't have the status or the know-how to get into these certain spaces where you need to be to make the changes that you want.
Yeah. You're not gonna push it to a different dimension because you're stagnant on what you've already learned, and what you already learned,
Because it's comfortable. It's
you feel
safety and
comfortable.
security. They want safety and security more than they want, and they want they want the materialistic stuff, and that little I call a mediocre job that you got.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna last for a long time, and then you got to look at that mediocre job and look at the management and the ownership. Like, do those managers and owners look like you? Probably not.
No.
They ain't
No.
never look like me. They ain't never look like me. So
No.
and people got, like, I work with dudes that they got they got like, I worked in higher education.
Yeah.
There was dudes that like just did the bare minimum, and I'm like, I'm all over the place. Everybody know me, and I'm doing all the work, and they end up being a the the chief financial aid officer or whatever, the head dude at the financial aid. I'm like, dang, I can't even get I can't even get an interview for that position, but because they want me to stay in really higher, they want you to stay in your little lane. So I
That's
was in
exciting.
admissions,
Yeah.
I was in student life, and I was like, but I worked with all of the different um, uh, offices,
Yeah.
financial aid, registrar. Like, I went to a small school, so I worked really
Yeah.
close with
So you
all of them.
interacted with a lot of people.
Yeah, but I know what
And
they
you can
did,
branch out.
and I could branch out, but they would let me because they was like, "Oh, you just did this." I'm like, but it's the same thing, just in a different aspect. But
And you'll have people that see that you're trying to grow and move through things, and they may try and regulate you to a certain thing. Do not get off your pivot. You got the ball. You got enough minutes in the time in the game. You don't have to rush a shot. Please take your time and make a precise shot. Make the right plays, or make the plays that you feel are good enough for you. Because yes, a lot of things are a team sport. A lot of things you can do. You can help each other, but for the most part, you want to make sure that you're helping yourself. I'm not saying that helping people is wrong. Helping people is good. I help people every day, whether it's just advice, just sometimes it just takes a conversation for somebody to comprehend, or you may say a word that triggers them to be like, yeah, well, I can do that. Well, that does make sense. That's what it has, but you have to be willing to take direction. You have to be willing to open up and express yourself and say, or even be confident enough to roll up on someone that you see is doing a little bit better than you, or doing something in a way that you want to do and be a part of. And you never know. That person could give you some game that sets you on fire, and then you the next rocket ship to the moon or Mars or wherever we're going
yeah,
right now.
I wouldn't bank on that because most of the stuff you're not even ready for as a young person or just a person in general. You got to take in information along the way and just hold it. You got to remember it because you don't even know where that information is going to be able to be applied in your
Yeah.
life. I was always that person. Like I had a certain, not certain set of circumstances, but um, the circumstances that I had and the circumstances that I created were um, unique to only me. So like when people that would give me advice based off of somebody that was just going to college or just an athlete in college, or I was already doing everything.
Yeah.
So if you're not enhancing what I do, as far I had to let me rephrase that. I had to take the information or the advice somebody was giving me and apply it in the ways that I could apply it because I was already doing way more than anybody else was doing in the first place. People just didn't understand that. Like I was just like, all right, well, they was like, well, you should volunteer for organizations and stuff. I was like, I've been doing that. like, like you're not telling me anything that I'm like. I need you
Yeah.
to. I need better
Yeah,
information.
hit me with some new grass seed. I already got this grass seed there. I'm already
Yeah,
doing it.
but
I'm
I've
already
always,
watering it.
but like I always took the work. I did the work, and like just people don't understand it because I don't show it or tell it or whatever. Like wherever you meet me at or see me at, like you're not gonna necessarily know that I do 10 other things at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm focused on my what I'm supposed to do here,
Yeah.
right? And so it you have to keep the knowledge that people kick to you and learn how to apply it in your own life specific to your own circumstances because like still to this day like lawyers, doctors, whatever, whoever, but I'll be like, you just went to school. Like I
That
did
was
a
your
whole
focus.
bunch of yeah,
You
yeah,
didn't do anything else but school.
yeah. So
No multitasking.
yeah,
Straight road.
right, and I don't even think it was multitasking because multitasking is it was just I was doing multiple things at the same time. When you're able to jump from arena to arena and be 100% at that arena, that's a different thing than multitasking. Sitting there multitasking is like I'm playing on my phone while I'm doing this podcast type of thing. That's that I'm not giving my full energy to where I'm at.
Yeah.
But you want to be in those in your arena doing the things that you're supposed to be doing when you're supposed to be there. So I have students that like I'm like, dude, you got to come into your study hall and at least go over the assignments that you had. You got an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes in here. Go over the assignments that you have for your college credit classes. Go over the assignments that, like, make sure everything is done. Like, for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and
It's
then
a
do
small
something that
commitment,
it's a small commitment.
but it can turn into a bigger product.
Well, it's the consistency
Yeah.
that doing creating a habit of doing that is going to be more beneficial than you sitting on your phone for an hour and an hour and 15 minutes, um, uh, like 3 days out of the week on that fourth day. Then you you buckle down because you
Yeah, it's
know
crunch
you have
time.
to. Yeah, it's
It's
crunch
crunch
time.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that's the consistency is like I don't have to worry about anything because I already know what's coming up. These students don't know what's coming up. They sign up for field trips. They sign up to take tests and everything, and they do not know. They forget. Like, and I'm like, how did you forget? Like, ain't your main focus in school? Like, but no, like they work,
Your main
which
focus is a lot.
is a lot, but which is good. Like I tell my students all the time, I'm like, you're doing the things that you're doing a lot of things like I was doing in college, in high school. You're doing it while you're in high school,
Yeah.
but the way you're doing it and the effort you're putting into it is way different than the effort that I put into that those different things. So I'm like,
Well,
we have to. You got to get to a point where it's you're making habits. You're growing inside of the things you do. You're going to work just to make money. You don't care if you're on your phone or not. You're not trying to learn. You're not trying to do anything. You yelling at the boss because they want you to do this and that, or I don't know. That's an
no,
extreme example, but
it happens.
yeah, I know.
It
But
does happen.
those are the type of things that I'm saying. Like we need to start tweaking these. Everything is you're doing is going to help or hinder you. Um, it's called the law of accumulation. So
Yeah.
the more work you put in, the better your success is going to be later on. But if we're not taking the right amount of time to do the little things now, you're not going to do the little things later when it really matters.
No. And that's and yeah, you can blame it on the technology that helps people or gives them the chance to thought to skip steps because things are easy. But like we were discussing on Wednesday about even people wanting to be great, I came up with this epiphany on the way over to your house, and it has to do with the playoffs. And we talked about this at brunch. Ant-Man is single-handedly taking down heroes. I'll say LeBron's a hero because he's a fixture of most people in society. But he is doing it in an individualistic way. Like it's a team effort because the team is benefiting him and his efforts, but he is doing it in a way that is going to recognize him. So it'll be Ant-Man and the Timberwolves. You see what I'm saying? They still have stars. They got Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley, people that has been in the league for a while, but since he is the new guy with the new shiny tool, which he is greater than what he did. He sent KD home. He just sent LeBron and the Lakers home, which probably wasn't that hard. But he's on the Timberwolves. I'm a Heat fan. My team set history for being the most lopsided series ever. So
But
it's two
why is
different
he individualistic and why?
because
But
he's doing individualistic things. Like
like
he's
what?
going out, not saying that he has to score 50 points, but he's going out and he's making the effort to do 50 points. He wants that pressure. He wants the spotlight. He wants to be the hero, if you will, or the leader of the team. Unlike, I grew up with Jordan. He had a lot of individualistic things happen for him, but he knew it was a team thing. Yeah, he was great.
After a while,
Yeah,
after 7 years.
after a while. But he still came to those conclusions. I'm not saying Ant-Man is not going to come to that conclusion, but he's gonna come to the conclusion that he's not gonna want to do it all at the time. He's young now, so he's got a high motor. He can do things. He can.
But which isn't efficient in winning championships. It can only take you so far being individualistic in a team game.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, last year he got to the Western Conference Finals,
yeah.
and then Luka and the Mavs went to the playoffs. Well, Mavs are not in the playoffs. Luka, he just sent
went to the
Luka.
championship.
Luka he just went home with the Lakers. So it's a new aspect, and it's whatever he learned from last year. That's what you have to do. You have to learn from your experiences and take them and then apply them to your new experience and say, oh, well, this happened last year and I beat it like this. So let me see if it applies this year. It's going to apply. It's definitely going to happen because you're still in the playoffs. Now, if you don't make it to the playoffs, then you didn't learn anything, or statistically, your team just sucked and they wasn't that great. And no matter what individual things you did or achievements, it wasn't enough to get your team over the hump. So there is, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's time to shine individually, and then there's times to take your shine down and allow others around you to shine as well as you're shining yourself, and then you can be a beam, which they are right now because they're still in the playoffs, unlike my team. But then you have the aspect that I thought of last night of, well, at the end of the day, who's really taking care of you? Is it you? Do you have a teammate? Are you in a relationship? Are things 50-50? Are things 75-25? Are things 100%? You have to understand those things and those accounts with people, because the things you put into people, you're not necessarily going to get back. Like if you put 100% into a personal relationship, it's not necessarily that person is going to revive it and give you 100% back. That person may feel like 7%. He may feel like he or she may feel like 50% is good because they're expecting you to give 50%. Then that makes 100. Yeah, that's great, but the commitment individually is the commitment that you have to perceive on yourself. You can't perceive it on other people because they don't have the mentality that you have. You would hope and express that they can, but it's not all the same. We all have different ideas of success. We all have different ways that we think that we're doing above average, while other people in other people's eyes could be that's just average because they have an aesthetic family or a steady family. So disadvantaged people will always be disadvantaged because they're going to feel like they have to do more. There have to be more effort. There has to be a lot more for them to achieve what they want versus a person that's stable and has an aesthetic background and things come effortless, because that's basically what we're grinding down to. It's how much effort you have to put in. Some for some it's minimal. For others it's 100%, or you go home.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that you better be ready to go after greatness uh, before anything. Like it can't be halfway. Like everything that you do has to have 100% of your effort, or gradually get to 100%. Because I think that's one of the main things that makes me um, uh, good at the things that I do is that like most people are going to want you to be good or great at whatever you step in when you
Yeah.
first step in there. But usually people, and that's why Malcolm Gladwell popularized the 10,000 hour rule, is because it really takes a while for you to get good at something. But the instant gratification that y'all grew up in, the society of instant gratification that y'all grew up in, is is taking that away. You think you need to be great um, at that moment or within a few within a few months or something, or you're just
It
not good
doesn't
at
make
it,
sense.
and then you quit. And you quit before you even have a chance to even know that you'll be good at something.
The
And
potential.
then on top of that, on top of the instant gratification, you expect to be good or great at it um,
Immediately.
immediately.
Yeah.
and and
Crazy.
right, that's not how it grow. You have to grow into something, and you quitting, yeah, that's number two. Number two, you can't quit because that quitting part is definitely going to solidify that you're never going to get good at it. And that also goes into a third part, which is um uh dang, I just had it in my head. The
I
third
hate
part
when that
is
happens. I really do.
so quitting, and then oh, the expectations. The third part is the expectation. You have expectations of being good anyway, and if you're not good, you're gonna quit. But and you have an expectation of doing this, or you have an expectation of how it's going to go, and if it doesn't go your way, you quit. And you can't do that because it's not gonna always go your way. It's
No.
not going to be the cookie cutter. The advice that I got over the years, I always had to translate it into my own way, always, because like I said, people weren't, and they're still not doing the things that I do in multiple, understanding multiple arenas, understanding multiple types of people, working with different types of people. Like, people aren't doing that at the scale that I'm doing it. Like I'm doing it in multiple ways every single day for 8 to 12 to 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
So if you do that over 20 years, people that it just that they go to one job, go to go home to one family, and like that's just a
That's true.
singular approach. So the knowledge that I have of people, and I got over almost 18,000 rides as a Uber driver. So
Yeah.
you can imagine how many conversations I done had over the years. And that's, and if even if you give me half of that, or just 10,000 um conversations out of that 18,000, like that's still a lot more than anybody is ever gonna have,
Yeah.
and that's just one aspect of my life. So like what I'm trying to get at is that people really don't know the magnitude of my work ethic and what I understand about life, which bothers me a lot. That's why I'm bringing it up. It bothers me a lot, and and I understand that people just don't know, like because they don't want to know. And that's the thing. Like you would know if you asked a few questions. Like, oh, how do you know that? Or but they'll be just like, oh well, this is what I know. I'm like, okay, well, well,
Congratulations,
bravo,
congratulations.
because I mean.
But
I guess
you know this?
I grew up around a whole bunch of know-it-alls. They always had the answer to everything, and I'm just like, maybe you don't. Like, maybe you don't have the answer to everything. And I'm like, and they always used to try to give me the answer, and I'm like, I'm not looking. When I ask questions to ask further questions that draw out more questions. I'm not really looking for an answer. I already have my own conclusion.
Yeah.
I just want to think through it more. But a lot of people just want to give an answer, and that's not how I am. I'm looking for the deeper underlying issue or conversation or solution. Like that's why I ask the questions. I always ask questions more than I have answers for, but I do have a lot of answers based off of the questions that I've always asked. So take people's advice. Do you even want to be great is something you have to ask yourself because being great comes with its own um, level of effort. That's why I asked the question is because like
You're
I
not seeing a
said,
lot of effort.
well, not even that. Like once somebody asks you, or not ask you, but states, if you want to be great, dot dot dot. Whatever comes after that, like you have to ask yourself, that whatever comes after that does not even apply if you don't even want to be great at the at the beginning of that statement. That's what I'm getting at. Like, you have to already want it in your mind or understand in your mind that I have to be great. So I have to listen to whatever comes after that. So if I want to be great, dot, 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 this is what that person said. You're going to remember it more. But if you just like, oh, it's going to come to me anyway. I want to be great.
That's crazy.
That's
real crazy. And a person like me is observing the craziness that you're deciding to be. Now, I observe a lot. I take a lot in because, I don't like to be left out on a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff I will be left out on because it's not my adventure. But I like to observe. I like to I like to observe. I like to see how people do things, how they go about things, the work effort they do, um, why they do it, what gives them the determination to do it. I like to really dig deep. I like to ask questions because, without questions, you don't have answers. And then you get your answers and then you come up with your own conclusions. Um, and when you observe, and you might be doing the same thing that individual is going to be doing or is doing, then you can add your own little tweaks, which is a good way to observe. You can add your own stuff, not necessarily taken away from the person if you're observant or the knowledge that you received, but you have to add your own twist. So you're pushing it and what you've already taken in further with your twist, so you can add yourself to the list. Credit stories like books and stuff. This was wrote by this and thought of like this, dedicated to this, whatever the case may be. You have to give yourself a way in and a way out as far as what you come up with in life. And for me, I've been observing all my life. I used to say that I was just a nosy person. I didn't think I was a nosy person. I just didn't like not knowing what was going on. So I guess that could be nosy. I don't know. But regardless.
A lot of people, if they're, I'm not to say that your auntie is unintelligent, but like if they're unaware of a lot of the things that um, we're coming into a better understanding
Yeah.
the older you get and the more advances in technology, the more information that is available now. So if people aren't aware of what that is, then
Hmm.
they're just gonna push it off as
Yeah.
you're nosy. So he's just a nosy
Well,
kid.
I mean,
No, maybe
this.
they're interested in, like, I've always been interested in the people's behavior.
Yeah.
Like I probably would be a socialist, or not a socialist, sociologist,
Oh
a
yeah.
sociologist, because I like observing people
Yeah. I love
in the environment. And fortunately for me, and this is how I directed my life, I was able to be around a lot of people.
it. Yeah.
Hence the 18,000 rides that I
Yeah.
have at Uber, the schools that I've worked in, the people that I've been around, the gyms that I've been a part
Yeah.
of.
So
Like,
you
it's a
you
lot of people that
you
I've
created a
observed.
space to where you could take advantage of your curiosities,
Mm,
and it's benefited you. See, I work for the public, so I don't get high intelligent interactions all the time. Sometimes, as the last podcast, I wondered why there were so many adults with kid like minds, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, there's things I can do about it, but the things that I might suggest may be a little harsh or a little bit forced. So therefore, I do not express them because it can be taken in the wrong context. Um, but yeah, I observe a lot older generations, younger generations. I like the future that we have with the technology that we're having. So you can be super uber smart and still use technology, or you can be mediocre and still use the technology. It just depends on what facet of life you want to be a part
the
of.
difference between smart and mediocre is people. We can take social media for example.
It's
People
effort.
use social media as entertainment,
Yeah.
and you're on it for entertainment. Or like just a telephone. Telephone, you use mediocre people use a telephone for social media for entertainment. Smart people will have it for entertainment, and they will also use it to read books
Yeah.
and to learn about different things. That is the real purpose of our technology, is to enhance our lives and enhance the information that we get, and enhance the understanding about life that we have.
Yeah.
If we don't have that understanding, or if we're not growing in that aspect, and we're just watching fights on online. Even we share reels all the time,
Yeah. And
but
it's an array of things. Not
yeah, it is
one
a
subject.
right. It'd be random stuff, but that's we use it in
Yeah.
entertainment ways, but we also read books on there. I read articles on the things, and are on my phone, and like I do a lot of stuff with that.
Yeah.
And then that's that's how we got to use the technology that we have, and even the more technology. Like I said, we're gonna get we're gonna get we're gonna get AI to help us do a lot of things
Right.
in the coming years, which will free up our focus. Right, we won't have to do some of the things that we're normally used to doing on a regular basis. So you're gonna have to take that focus and put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Not just for, especially when you're young, not just for leisure activities, so you can be leisure and do the leisurely things. That's for some people. That's not for you. Whoever's listening to that podcast, that some people can do it. Just like
It's
I
not
mean,
for everybody.
well, some people can do it, and their lifestyle, the lifestyle circumstances already
Yeah.
dictate that they don't have to be as serious as this. This is more serious. This is way more serious than people are letting it out to be. Because if you listen to me, you listen to us, this podcast, whatever, you have to want to be great already, because
Mm-hmm.
you come from a background where there's not a lot of greatness in that background. You have to want something more. It can't just be about money. That's a part of it. Yes, we want money. Yes, we want cars. Yes, we want houses. We want
We
all the
want a lot.
family. We want all of that stuff. But it takes time to work through that. Like some of my counterparts, my friends and stuff, they have a lot of things that I don't have at an earlier age, 10 years before I'm going to get it. A whole decade before I'm going to get it. That's fine, but I had to understand that it's going to take me a little bit longer to get through this process, because my circumstances didn't dictate that progress.
And I feel like, since there's such a distance, that once you achieve something of that stature, then you appreciate it more,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you already know the rigors of the things that you had to go through.
Hmm.
So that in itself is a life lesson. Like, things that are handed to you,
You don't
you
appreciate
don't really appreciate
the
sometimes,
things you work for. You always appreciate, and
because
that's what I was getting at earlier with
yeah,
the person hungry and the person that's not as hungry.
yeah,
Like that person that's hungry is going to appreciate the opportunity. The person that's not as hungry oh, this is the opportunity that I always got. Like I
yeah,
deserve it
I'm
or
always
whatever.
hungry.
But I want to make sure that everybody deserves it, even that person that comes from a stable or
Yeah,
fluid. Like I don't care
we
if
can
you
all
put
be
in the work, if you put in the effort, and you gave it your all without holding back. That's the number one thing people hold back. Like you're not giving your effort because you think it's beneath you. You don't think it's going to be contributing to your success. But that person that's hungry, that has to go through all of those
yeah.
things, when they make it,
Dun, 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 dun.
yeah, they gonna
Yeah,
deserve it, and then you gonna be like, well,
I did this,
yeah, I did
and
this and this,
I did
and I
this,
didn't get the same. You didn't get the same
because
because you
you
just
didn't
did it.
want it enough.
Well, you just did it on the you just did what was required.
Oh, oh,
That's what I'm saying. If you just did what was required and you didn't take it a little bit further, you didn't give your full effort.
listen,
You just did what was required. That person had to do what was required. That person had to deal with
extra
outside.
credit, extra everything.
Well, yeah, the outside
Hmm.
sources that are outside forces that take your focus away from what a student or a young person is supposed to be focusing on. That's what I'm talking about.
Wow,
That
that that gave me an yes. See, this is why I say this this helps me in life, because the requirements that you have, that's what a lot of people, and I feel like it's gonna be pushed to that point where people are not just gonna be like, hey, like, I think I sent you a reel about, what dating is like in 2025, and girls like, hey, how much money do you weigh? And then the guy's like, hey, how much do you weigh? And she's like, well, how big is it? And he was like, well, how wide is it? And she was like, well, where's your family goes? And she's just looking like, I need a check. That's pressure. Why are you going to put yourself in a position if you're not ready for the pressure? Because anytime that you decide that you want to step out your realm, as soon as you step outside, you should be ready for pressure. When you go to work and you have to drive, whether 5 minutes, 15, 20, It's pressure because other people are going to be in the other lanes. You don't know what they're going through. You have to accept the pressure. And then you have to be able to relieve the pressure or accept it and give it back. And for certain things or certain subjects, it's very sad and pitiful to me. But that's just the way life is. That's what I'm gonna chalk it up to.
I don't chalk it up to that. I have to
certain
analyze it. I have
certain
to
things.
analyze it
Well,
to the
I'm an
fullest.
analyzer regardless. But
Well,
as far as my energy going towards that, I'm gonna leave it at that.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah. So
I don't have a lot of time.
the
I'm not gonna make a
so
lot of time.
I think people want us to do what is required, and that's it. Because, like I said, I observe people. I observe people. Um, I observe people's reactions to me because they look at me and they have one reaction. Um, they talk to me, they have another reaction. They find out who I am, they have an even other reaction. So there's a whole bunch of reactions that I go through because every time I meet somebody new, I'm quiet, like I'm reserved, like I don't give a lot of information or
Yeah,
whatever. But then once that
they have to
there's
buy in for
right,
it.
right.
Yeah.
Like, do you really want this totality of this
I can be a
conversation?
stranger or I can be your friend.
or I
You
can,
pick.
or I can be somebody that can teach you something.
Yeah.
And usually, I'm the one that's teaching them something because
Teach me stuff all the time.
so the the reason why I bring that up is because like people 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 get intimidated by me because of my work ethic because they think that I'm just an Uber driver when they meet me as an Uber driver or they I meet somebody through one of my group fitness people and they're like, "Oh, this is my Zumba instructor." They just think I'm a Zumba instructor.
Oh, surprise.
Yeah, right. Or I'm at school and the teachers just think I'm just a guy that works with the college credit students or whatever. And so,
There's layers to you.
and I have a whole bunch of layers
Yeah.
because I do multiple things at the same time, which a lot of people aren't capable of doing. So when they realize that, they're like, "Oh, wow, this is it." And then when I have the super amount of knowledge, the over 300 books that I've read over the past decade, and all of the motivational speeches, the the lectures,
Yeah.
and all of the things that I've been articles and all of that stuff that I've been putting, and I can put it all together into formulate my own conscious conclusion
Mm-hmm.
to this based off of the foes. I had to add an S in there, the FOES,
Yeah.
instead of the facts, observations, experiences. You got then you got the solutions.
Oh,
So
watch out now.
so I have the full foes that I always go by, like and I talk through this like in my many conversations that I have. The facts, observations, experiences, and then solutions to that. People get really intimidated. That's why I don't talk too much. When I go to events like galas or fundraising events,
Yeah.
I'll sit around the table and I'll be the only one that is, usually I'm the only one that um, I know there. Like I don't know anybody there. I'm the only one at the table that doesn't know anybody. So people start asking me questions because I stick out because I'm a black dude in probably an all white environment, and I look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
We like those. Please invite us.
yeah, I'm gonna come anyway. So anyway,
I will be there too.
not just because I just like going to random events anyway. I go to all black events too, like all black galas and all that stuff. So that's not
Experience
a
is good.
thing. Yes,
Experience is good.
but I don't have any problem with racial issues.
No.
and that's where it starts to get a little funny because like I still understand society as a whole because I study that too over the past my life, and more specifically the past decade. I've studied race in America, race, religion, and relationships in America. So and the relationship between those two, race and religion, and it's very interesting. And like I said, when people go from when they meet me, how they meet me, to talking to me, to really getting to understand who's behind this, a lot of people do get intimidated, or I mean, and they want, like, there's one of the YouTube commercials. This is how you become the most interesting man. How you become the most interesting person in the room is by all the things that you do, and you do it with a great effort, and you do it with a sense of greatness and wanting to be great. I want to be great at everything. I do not like losing at anything. If I'm not doing well, like I'm behind in my college credit numbers at work. I hate that because and I shouldn't be. That's losing to me. I need 10 more students to go into these classes, and that's losing. That is losing. And when you're not getting the goals and the things that is part of growth, that is a part of greatness. And if I don't get those numbers, that's on me, and I'll take the loss.
You'll take the criticism.
Yeah, I'll take the criticism, whatever. Like, but I'm gonna learn from it. Yes, there's no losing. There's either winning or learning, and that's what the I won't lose philosophy is all about. And do you even want to be great? Do you even want to be like, you have to ask yourself that question, because um, people are given the information on how to be great, and you have to be able to be mature enough to take in that information. If you don't want to be great, that information is not going to interest you. You're just gonna slide. It's gonna slide past you. You're going to
like a news ticker at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, or the news ticker at the top of your screen. You can see it. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. We on the porch.
Don't be losers.
Don't be what?
Don't be losers.
Don't be losers. Yeah, I won't lose. You won't lose. We won't lose.
That's W's for wins.
And winning ain't everything. Well, you learn the most by losing, but
you do.
But the greatness comes from learning from those losses. And if you come from a disadvantaged background like I did, you're probably gonna be already in a state of losing. that's why that phrase came to mind, is that, like, I just hate being at a disadvantage. Like, I need to make my own. Like, I wasn't able to make my own opportunity or advantage until I grew up.
Yeah,
but I understood that I was at a disadvantage.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't understand that they're at a disadvantage, and that's why I said, do you even want to be great? Because if you are at a disadvantage, which most of us are, because we don't have generational wealth, you don't have people with businesses, and even if you do have people with business, you have to push that. Your goal or your mission is to push the family forward. It's to enhance the family life. They led you up to this far. You got to take it even further and get even better for generation after generation. I don't care if you do want kids, don't want kids. You still have to push the family forward. And if you don't, then
I mean, it's on you.
Yeah, it's on you.
It's all on you.
But we here to be we're here to talk it through, because I got a whole bunch of stories. I don't know when they come up. That's why I said the knowledge that you get from other people, like all them conversations that I've had, like they stick with me for some reason, and then I can bring them up whenever the situation
Yeah, it's
needs
good.
it to be. So that's all I got for today. CJ, any last words?
My last words, just be committed to excellence, be all the way up, and, try and apply greatness in every time you can, in every which way.